Welcome back, guys, to a rather different video today. It's a long story. I didn't really manage to do an opening scene today and also didn't talk a lot at the gym. Soon you will see why this happened, but as I promised myself, I decided to still give my best making this video. I just don't want my video to end in an audio blank because this video is probably a bit more concentrated on my speaking and the thoughts that I had while training. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Today I spent quite a long time stretching and warming myself up because I wasn't feeling that well. Since it is the third week of the block, I had a few sessions included in my trainings block, which is quite heavy in my opinion, so I didn't want to risk of hurting myself during training. This is me spending a lot of time stretching my back, reducing the stress in my legs and my arms, everything that I could possibly think of. Yeah, I invested a lot of time warming myself up today. So this is usually how my squat session starts. I always do a few weightlifting movements, which is an overhead squat in this case, and a few normal barbell squats, and I'm good to go. I started up by loading 70 kilos on the bar. Try to find my squat position as soon as possible because my body was feeling cold and I didn't really feel the connection between my upper body and my lower body. So it was quite a struggle, to be honest. This is the moment where I realized that I might potentially fail my top sets, and this thought bothered me a lot. Since I wasn't really finding the perfect way of standing, I shifted a bit too much to the front, so I put two small plates underneath my feet and tried to find a perfect balance between shifting my pelvis to the back and pulling my knees to the front. And this helped, but we'll see. 120 kilos loaded on the bar. Still a bit too high, I guess, my squat. And the second one as well. I'm trying to find my optimal depth, and I think a lot of my squats are actually too high at the moment. Now 150 loaded. I decided to do a lot of warm-up sets today because I just didn't feel like going to my top set without having the perfect feeling of squatting, you know? This was most probably a bit too risky, but I decided to do one more warm-up set with 170 instead of going directly to my top set. I thought I would rather fail my set due to fatigue, but not of technical difficulties. And I think I mentioned it in one of my previous videos. I usually don't listen to music while training because I just don't like to get distracted. But today, I really needed the help of Linkin Park. Overall, I am quite satisfied with my top set. The only problem that I had was that I wasn't hitting depth, but my torso was much more stable than last week, so I'll take it as a yes. Next week it's going to be better. And this is my first set of pause squats, but I was already deep fried that I didn't really care about my techniques, I would say. And I can see that the pauses are a bit too short and my torso wasn't as stable as the first set. Oh. Now I'm feeling a bit better. Condition wise, today is terrible. I tried to go to bed a bit earlier yesterday, and I did manage to go to bed at around 10:30, I guess. But yeah, we had friends at our place, visitors, and I couldn't fall asleep until they were all gone. I tried everything to fall asleep, but I couldn't. I couldn't because of the noise. And these are basically the consequences of not sleeping enough. I wasn't really in the mood to do an opening speech today, so I'm probably gonna go back home and do a bit of audio work. I really didn't feel like doing my top set. I was really skeptical about the weight of doing 190. I just had the mindset of, okay, you know what? You can go home after the top set, so no matter what, just finish the top set. I previewed the video already, and I think I'm not really satisfied with the technique. Bracing got much better than last week, but the depth was still missing. It is also the third week of the program, which means things are getting serious. I probably should go train a bit later. I don't know if I can manage it time-wise, but I just can't imagine failing my top sets because I go to the gym early in the morning. So we'll have to fix that. It's been almost like an hour since I've been here. But to be honest, I'm not feeling that well. I'm just trying to finish my pause squats, and I'll have to see if I can go on with the training. So first of all, pause squats with 170 kg. Maybe I just need to push through. All right, let's see. Okay, let's do this. Oh, almost had a blackout. You know, the reason why I wanted to start with my YouTube channel is to be honest with my feelings, record the emotions and thoughts that I go through in my daily life. Of course, training, it's one of the most important factors, but I'm just at the point where thinking about and talking about my thoughts and emotions are dragging me down into a hole where I can't get out of. I'm really not sure anymore. Maybe it's just a bad day. I was kind of mad yesterday because I really wanted to go to bed and I couldn't. I really felt like going out into the living room and shitting on everyone, but I didn't want to be that kind of person who only cares about his own life. But yeah, the results are devastating. I did how many sets now? 3, and I already spent like an hour at the gym. I'm gonna do the pause squats, the front squats, and the RDLs, and I'm gonna go home. And before I work today at the gym, that's when I'm gonna throw in my lat pull downs and my hyperextensions. So maybe this is the best solution because I am a very stubborn guy. And when it comes to training, I really hate to make exceptions. It's probably not the most intelligent way to plan your training. As I said before, you also need to listen to your signals that your body is sending you. So usually I would just push it through and I would just fuck myself up in terms of central nervous system or whatever. And that's the last thing I want to do right now because the block is actually working pretty well and I don't want to lose this momentum. I'll just finish my leg sessions and do the rest of my training at the other gym. Probably not the most positive video of this week. I really feel the need to express this frustration. A few reps were done intentionally higher than expected, which is not optimal, but I'm trying to find my depth. So this is something that's going to be better next week. I know that I'm fatigued and not in a physical state where I can give everything I want. And this is what makes me furious. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to give everything I have. Realistically saying, this is probably my very last year where I can attend and participate at the nationals. For ones who don't know, I actually did have my qualifications for the nationals last year, but the rules changed a few weeks before the nationals and I didn't make it eventually. And since then, I'm training with the intention and goal of making it to the nationals. And that is why every single session means so much to me. I know pushing oneself till the edge is not always the best way in terms of mental health, but I don't really see another option. I just don't want to waste my time. I just don't want myself in the future to look over the past and say, I could have done it, but I didn't make it. It's not an option for me. I really want this. Yeah, I don't say this often. Yeah, I really want this. At this point, I knew there wasn't going back. And to be honest, I think my technique seemed much better last week. But first of all, I went higher with weights. I loaded 130 kilos on the bar, and I was just glad that I didn't give up and just go home. So, a lot of instabilities in my knees, I could see it, but my torso was stable, and I had a good feeling of pushing it upwards. So, next week, I'll just try to concentrate more on the knee stability. This is my last set of front squatting with 130 kg. My original plan was to go home after the set, so I was trying to give everything I had in this set. And yeah. But yeah, I somehow managed to lie to myself and went on with the training. And at this point, I was telling myself, I'm just going to do RDLs and go home. So this is really the very last exercise I'm going to do in this gym. But it wasn't, I guess. This week, I loaded 110 on the bar. And to be honest, I didn't really think that it was a lot of weight. I felt the tension in my lower back, and I was concentrating a lot to grab everything together with my core. So my abs were contracted. My lower back seems to be neutral, so I'm pretty happy with the results. I can see my hamstrings, and yeah, it's working out. I would be lying if I told you that I'm happy all the time when I'm in my training or in my training session. Um, I had a lot of pauses between my sets today, which took me a lot of time to finish my training, but I was technically saying fighting against my demons. Yeah, it was not the easiest session that I had in this training block. I personally think it is really hard to find a good balance between pushing yourself and also taking care of yourself. I tend to do both, but sometimes I have the feeling that I'm not doing any of these. Today I was pushing myself until I couldn't because I was mad at the fact that I got influenced by such a small thing that I couldn't sleep that much. But I mean, training wise, this is probably a big factor, but I just didn't like the feeling that I was bitching around just because I slept. a few hours. But on the bright side, I would say that my back training is improving every single session. I didn't really like training my back because I never had this perfect feeling of targeting my lats or my traps, for example. But since I've been doing a lot of exercises with concentration on the eccentrics, I think I am slowly understanding how you can train your back. And this is also what I've been neglecting, to be honest, the last few years, my hamstrings and my back, because I don't know, I'll never figure out why I hated these exercises, but yeah, that's how I used to train. A series of emotional roller coasters here. Today, more importantly, because this morning, after or right before my top set, I was feeling miserable. I was complaining about a lot of things again, which I don't like about myself. But but to be honest, I am pretty glad and also proud of myself that I still decided to stick to the plan and finish my training. As I said, I was lying to myself that I could go home after the session, but I was adding up one exercise at a time, and this is my final exercise that I had today. Yeah, hyperextensions with 50 kilos added. And last week I was doing this exercise with 25 kilos, where my coach texted me that I decided to do a bit of more weight today, and I think it worked out well. I could really feel my butt squeezing, and yeah, ballon. Closing up, guys, I just learned another life lesson today at the gym, as usual. Just don't give up. Whatever it is, just do it. Regretting about things is even much worse. Thank you for watching. See you guys on Wednesday.